This next test is an aerobic fitness test called the Modified Canadian Aerobic Fitness Test, also known as the MCAP for short. Because it's an aerobic fitness test, it is higher risk. We know that Clara's already passed her screening portion, but it's important to always let your client know that at any point, if Clara feels discomfort, she feels overly fatigued, or even if she just wants to stop, she has the right to stop the test at any point if she so chooses. The other thing I need to know is the appropriate cutoff. So in the CSEP protocols, we never allow a client to go above 85% of their max estimated heart rate, which would be 220 minus their age. So I would have calculated that ahead of time and know what Clara's cutoff is. Now the MCAT is a bit more unique because it has stages that are already predetermined by cadence on a CD. And so it's going to give you a 10-second count for heart rate at the end of each stage. So I always suggest that students should calculate what that 10-second count cutoff would be. So in this case, for Clara, whatever her max heart rate would be, 85% of that would maybe give me 27 beats in a 10-second count. So if I'm counting her heart rate in that 10-second and she hits 28, I know that's the termination of the test. I can also choose to terminate the test if I find she's stumbling, if she can't keep up to the pace, even though she wants to continue. I have the right as the tester to terminate based on those criteria. So there are 8 stages to the MCAT. However, based on the client's age, they may start at a different stage. Clara, because of her age, starts at the 3rd one. And what it's going to do is, based to a beat, the CD will instruct step up, 2, 3, down, 2, 3, multiple times, and each stage gets progressively faster. There's a couple of things to note. The feet should never be side by side on this first step. It's only on the top and on the bottom that would occur. So once again, it would be 1, 2, 3, feet are side by side, down, 2, 3, feet are side by side. All right. The client can typically choose whatever feet they want to lead off with. I typically recommend they change it up a little bit so that they don't get overly fatigued on one leg versus the other. If your client typically has a history of maybe sore legs, etc., you might want to go through a bit of a stretching exercise with them. Normally the first stage will be quite easy for them, so it serves as a warm-up for them as well. Once the test is done, we would then go through a cool-down procedure. So now that I've demonstrated it, I would have Clara practice alongside me with no music. So I'd say, all right, Clara, just follow me. Up, 2, 3, down, 2, 3, up, 2, 3, down, 2, 3. I would then proceed to start the first track for her and have her practice twice like we just did with the music. But we'll assume that that's been done and she's now ready to begin. And so
this is stepping exercise stage 3 for women. Be prepared to step to the music. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step, step, up, step, step.
Perfect.
Down,
good job.
Step, step, up, step, step.
So throughout her stepping, I want to maintain good client contact. I'm not too far away. I'm also not too close that it's uncomfortable for her to walk up the stairs. But from this position, I can observe my client, making sure she's following the cadence and making sure that visually she's not looking blue in the face, she's breathing, she looks comfortable. And you always want to check in once in a while. How are we doing, Clara? Thumbs up, she looks comfortable, everything's going great. When the stage is done, you'll see the CD counts down quite quickly, so you don't have a lot of time to find that heart rate and measure in those 10 seconds. Like with the resting heart rate, you can choose palpation if you like, or auscultation. It's up to you, but you have to be ready because if you miss that time, you probably won't have the chance to properly take the heart rate and know whether or not your client should be moving on to the next stage. So we just finished the first minute. It cues you for the next. Once again, Clara seems to be doing good. If Clara were to lose her cadence, you could always step next to her and cue her back at the same time. So a lot of people tend to be a bit more visual, more than auditory, so it's always good that you're ready to cue them back on track, right? But she seems to be doing great, and so we just proceed for the whole rest of the 3-minute stage and then move on to the heart rate measurement and decide whether or not she needs to go to the next stage itself. Doing great. if you were to choose to do this test on your own, you have to make sure that they're regulated stairs. So these stairs are a specific height dictated by CSEP, and so you can't just do it on any staircase anywhere because they're not always the same height. So make sure that you do have stairs that do meet CSEP's requirements, and that would be in your documentation.
Down, 2, 3, up, 2, 3, 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 down, 2, 3, up, 2,
How do you feel, Clara? Doing good? Great job. Keep it up.
up, 2, 3, down, 2, 3, 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 up, 2, 3, down, 2, 3. Stop exercising. Find your pulse. Ready and count. Stop. Check your score on the chart to see whether you go on.
And so Clara's heart rate is low enough that she progresses to the next stage, which would be slightly faster. Each stage is getting more difficult. The last stage for women and stage 7 and 8 for men actually occur on the back side of the stairs. So we'll have Clara demonstrate that really quickly, just so you have an idea of the stepping cadence. In this case, it won't be up 2, 3, down 2, 3, but it'll be up 2, down 2. This is one of the biggest mistakes that students make, is that they don't know when it's going to switch. And so oftentimes their client is here when the tape is dictated and will go on the other side. And then you lose maybe 20, 30 seconds trying to get rearranged. And if you haven't shown your client how the stepping takes place on the other side, it really would score poorly on a CSEP evaluation, or potentially could fail the aerobic test if you're actually trying to get your certification. So you really want to be familiar with that. And we'll just do maybe a 20-second clip so you have an idea.
This is stepping exercise, stage 8 for women. Be prepared to step to the music. 3, 2, 1. Step up, step down, step up, step down, up, 2, down.
There you go,
2,
perfect.
up, 2, down,
So there's only a 2 count up, 2 count down. This is much more difficult than the other side. And once again, it's only for stage 8 for women or stage 7 and 8 for men.
2, down, 2, up, 2, down.
Doing good?
Up, 2, down, 2, up, 2, down, 2, up.
Perfect. If Clara were to successfully complete that stage, and once again, her heart rate is still below her cutoff, the test would be complete regardless, and then we would then calculate her maximal oxygen consumption, or VO2 max. Remember, if she ever reaches the cutoff before that stage, then we would do the calculations before. We wouldn't allow her to continue to a harder stage because the test would be terminated.